Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I am Toastmaster Brian D'Souza, your Sergeant at Arms for today. For the benefit of the guests, the role of Sergeant at Arms is to make sure the meeting hall is set and to be all ready for the meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, are we all ready for today's meeting?
Yes.
No. Are we all ready for today's meeting?
Yes.
That's good. Without wasting any more time, let us quickly take out our cell phones and get it on silent mode. We don't want our cell phones interrupting us in the next 2 hours.
Done.
Done? Let's wait 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you come on stage, in order to not hurt others' sentiments, please refrain from talking about sex, religion, or politics. Kindly exit or enter the hall when you hear an applause going. Toastmasters and guests, sometimes we are faced with difficulties, challenges on an everyday basis. It makes life a bit hard for us. But fortunately, I would say life becomes more fun and tolerable when you have people beside us. Our parents, our pets, our friends, and on the list, there is also our president of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. He is known to hit a nail on the head when challenges arise. A professional trainer, a savant of numbers. Yeah. Toastmasters, please join in welcoming the presiding officer for today, the president of our club, Toastmaster Shashank.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I call to order meeting number 1397 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. The minutes of the previous meeting, 1396, was shared with all the members by Secretary Toastmaster Subhas. Are there any amendments to the same? No. I pass the minutes of meeting 1396. Do we have any first-time guests amongst us here today? Any first-time guests? Can you please introduce yourself to us? Who you are? How did you get to know about the club?
My name is Putraju. Today, I'm going to come in. I'm coming from Rajaraja Srinagar.
Welcome. Anyone else? Any other first-time guests? We have a speech crafter here today in front of us. Oh, yes, ma'am. Please go ahead. Welcome. We also have a couple of speech crafters amongst us today. Can we please ask the speech crafters to please stand and introduce yourself to the members of the club? Amrit?
Hi, I'm Amrit and I am part of the speechcraft program.
Hi, I'm Jyotish. I'm part of Speechcraft program. This is my last week in Speechcraft program.
How do you welcome our guests again? For the benefit of members, the first speechcraft of this term will be done and dusted. We'll be concluding it this Sunday. We'll also be starting a second round of speechcraft program, the details of which I'll be sharing with you towards the end of this meeting. So there was my friend. He was working in Mumbai. He had a sister who worked at Delhi. His parents were staying in Bangalore. Both brother and sister were unmarried. He was leading a hectic life. work pressure. Even though he was getting 1.2 lakhs per month as salary, being a software engineer, he had his own share of difficulties in life, work pressure, etc. One day, when he just came back home, he got a call from his father. Father told him, "Son, I am getting a divorce from your mother. I am signing the divorce papers tomorrow morning." Son asked, "What happened to you? What happened to your family? It was so good when I came back. I can't tolerate the sight of her. I can't change my mind. I have fixed my mind, I have made up my mind. I will not change. Tomorrow morning I will be signing the divorce papers. Call up your sister who's in Delhi and inform her as well. I am not in the mood to talk to her." The son was first of all back from his hectic work day. He called his sister and told, "Sister, you know what? Parents are getting a divorce. Father just called me. They are signing the divorce papers the next day." Sister told him, "Nothing doing. Till I go back to Bangalore, nothing will happen. Do one thing, let us catch a flight now. Let us go back to Bangalore right now and show our faces to them tomorrow morning." The sister calls the father and told, "I, along with my brother, I am coming to Bangalore in the morning. Don't take any decisions till then. We are coming. Don't do anything. Don't take any decisions in haste." She got the call. Okay, the father, as soon as he got the call, he looked at his wife and told, "Finally, they are coming home for Dasara. What do we tell them for Diwali next?" Ladies and gentlemen, what the father did here, he hit the nail on its head. He knew what would bring the children back home. Even though my friend was sending around 30,000 rupees every month to his parents back home, do you think the parents are behind the money? Even if he transfers the entire 1,20,000, they don't care about the money. They want the children with them. The entire life they have sacrificed for the children. And when they are towards the second half of their life, they don't want money, they want the children to be with them. They may not tell this to you. Your parents will definitely not tell this to you, that please look after me when I am old. It is implied. We should make it a point to understand that, and however busy we are at our lives, just one acknowledgement would be much, much better from our end. How will that impact our Toastmasters life? We all have a family at home, but I call this my second family. Every Friday, however busy we are, will it be difficult for us to visit our second family here, network, talk to each other, and have a nice weekend? Will it be difficult for all of us?
No.
Then let us make it a point to come to the club on Fridays, because it is not about you learning here. It is also about we learning from you by talking to you and interacting with you. Because together we evolve. It's not only about us or me, it is about all of us. The next person who is coming on stage, we share two things in common. As the Surgeon at Arms told, even he is a savant of numbers. We both love numbers. And the Toastmaster of the day and I share the same mother tongue, which is Tulu. An avid finance professional, he was a director of finance at a private company. Now he is no longer the director of finance, he's just a director, leading his peaceful, semi-retired life. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Nitin on stage.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
I have a small request. People sitting at the back, can you just come more front so that my voice can be heard. Time of discount. This time is not. government education is exclusive. Okay, thank you for the warm welcome, President Shashank. Today, we are going to have a very special meeting. First and the foremost reason, we are going to have an educational session by DTM Rajdeep Mani. You know, how much ever you hear from Dr. Rajdeep, he always takes something new. Last week, I was listening to one of his talks in Toastmasters meeting organized by a different area, and he was talking about self-worth being net worth. It was such a beautiful talk. I'm sure you're going to take away a lot of things today when he talks about speaking on the pitch. I think this is a challenge which all of us face. And the second point for which is going to be special today is today's speakers. We have 4 speakers. All of them are attending the speech for the first time. They are giving this first project speech, and all of them need your full heart and support. They're going to come here and deliver their speech. So I expect all of you to give them a good round of encouragement. Coming to the theme of the day, hit the nail on the head. As usual, Dr. Rajdeep Manwani, I thought of China. Years ago, when I was posted there, there's nothing official about this now. We had a group of friends, foreigners, who had come there to, teach. They were teaching English in the small city, Yancheng. And all weekends, we used to have dinner together, because that's the only time we could speak in English. Otherwise, there was no way we could speak fluent English in China. With the foreigners, we could speak. And after dinner, we used to go for a pub. There's only one pub in the city, called VIP. And this pub had its own share of bouncers. And the manager was a masculine, big guy. Now my friends used to get drunk. And every Saturday it was my job to haul them, put them in my car, and drive them home safely. Without my knowledge, the pub manager and his friends were noticing me week after week. One day, the pub manager came, he brought an interpreter, and he extended his hand of friendship. I didn't know, I can't speak Chinese, that guy speaks only Chinese. But he wanted to be a friend with me. I said, okay. Through the interpreter, we came to know each other. He also learned that I was trying to learn a Chinese song. I had told you about this last time. I had taken 6 months to learn. He heard about it. And this VIP pub had a singing arena where people will come and sing the songs. It used to be a fun time every Saturday. The pub had a spotlight. On top, singer will come and start singing. When he asked me to sing, I know a little bit, but I didn't know what is to be done. I could hear the tune of the song, which is my favorite song. Oh, I can hear that. Thank you very much. The song goes like this. Ikaren Fangego Yuyenzu Yogole Yosu Haidila Tinti Shama San Aigo Hai Hoi Don Hoji No Hoi Hoi Sho Bongyo. So when you say Bongyo, it's friend. It talks about being friends, walking the life together as friends, whether there is sorrow or happiness. It had a beautiful meaning. This Everest, the pub owner, had hit the nail on the head by asking me to sing. Every Saturday then afterwards, the pub used to wait for me to come and sing. For next 2-3 years, I was the main singer there. So I never sang one song in India. But why? How I got that courage? I'll tell you. The root cause lies in Bangalore Toastmasters Club. 15 years I was here before going to China, and I was well versed in facing the crowd. It didn't matter to me whether it's Chinese or Japanese or whoever it is, because that is what Toastmasters brings for the benefit of guests. Exactly 99 years ago, Dr. Ross T. Smedley decided that this is something which people need in their life to remove the fear of public speaking, and she started Toastmasters Club. Just excuse me, I'll get some water. After singing. Yes.
Is it water?
Thank you. Yes. So normally, typically, the Toastmasters meeting has 3 sessions. We have a prepared speech session. As I said, it is going to be done, conducted by, the speeches will be given by the debutant speakers. We are going to skip the table topic session. This is a session where people come and speak on the floor, and we will have a general evaluation session. Now, any improvement in life, you can't have an improvement unless somebody tells you, like gives you a feedback, gives you positive feedback, constructive feedback. Every meeting of Toastmasters gets evaluated, and today's meeting is evaluated by a gentleman who was known in marathon circles as a professional marathon. Yesterday he told me that he has developed a liking for hiking. I don't know whether it's rhyming, but he says I've been going for hiking these days. In fact, tomorrow there is another marathon. Ladies and gentlemen, today's meeting will be evaluated generally by Toastmaster Vijay Kalkundri. He has instead that evaluators assisting him. The first person who is assisting him is the timekeeper, Toastmaster Srinivas, who joined our club recently. I request Toastmaster Srinivas to please kindly read out your task.
As a timer, it's my duty to time and record the duration of our speeches today for the entire meeting. And today's speeches are going to be 4 to 6 minutes. For 4 minutes, I'll be taking up a green card, and for 5 minutes, I'll be taking a yellow card, and for 6 minutes, will be red card. At the end of the meeting, I'll be giving the report to the general evaluators and submit to the club secretary in order to become a part of the permanent.
The next person who is going to evaluate is our accountant, Toastmaster Gaurav. He joined the club just 6 months ago, but taken this assignment to ensure that he gets his fear of his public speaking. Toastmaster Gaurav.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dealers. As an accountant, I will be listening very carefully for the use of vocal pauses and crutch words such as and repetitive words or phrases. I will keep track of everyone and report at the end of the meeting on who best controlled the use of filler words. This evaluation starts at the beginning of the meeting and ends at the agenda.
Thank you. Grammar is very important, especially for a person like me, who tend to make a lot of grammatical mistakes. So we have Toastmaster, who's a HR professional for the last 14 years and loves traveling and reading. She joined the club recently. I request Toastmaster Himani to read out your task.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian, I'm responsible example, John is a mathematical savant, writer and educator featured in a documentary. As part of my role, I will be watching not so good usages of grammar, as well as I will be making note of good usages of grammar English language, and I will present my report during the evaluation portion of the quiz.
So let's get on with the speed session, which we call it as an icebreaker marathon. The first speaker is going to be Toastmaster Vasavi, and she is being mentored by DTM Sumitra Mohan, and she will be evaluated by DTM Lalit. I request Lalit to read out the guidelines of this project.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. The guidelines that I'm reading out is not just for the person that I'm evaluating, but for all the speakers that are speaking today. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. All the best to the speaker and the rest of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalit. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I present the first speaker of the day, Toastmaster Vasavi.
How does it feel like to be here talking in front of 40-50 people and by the end of your speech to hear a lot of applauses? A while ago, Toastmaster Nitin was mentioning about his experience while he was in China, where he was put under a spotlight and he was able to present his singing skills. Now, I would just like to take a moment from TM Nitin to understand what it felt like for him at that day. Great. Yeah? So, I am here to present one such story wherein what does it feel like for a person to be put under a spotlight and to be into an ordinary situation? How does it feel like to be not under a spotlight? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
This is Vasavi here, who was born and brought up in Chennai. Coming from a family who is academically oriented, my childhood has always been something revolving around academics most of the time. My father was a chemist turned into an insurance professional, and my mother a Hindi teacher and a part-time Carnatic music enthusiast. So, assuming the information that is being given, most of my childhood, apart from academics, the rest of the time, whatever remaining, was spent into sports, Carnatic music, and little did I have time for myself to explore what I actually wanted to do. And given that I had been academically consistent, I had always been the apple of my teacher's eye. So I would just like to give one instance wherein there was a time in my 6th grade where my physics teacher asked, "What is the matter, class?" And me being an academically consistent student, I rose my hand and I said, "A matter is something that makes up molecules and atoms." Everybody laughed, but for me, I couldn't think of something else in my mind at that time. So coming from that to a person who is not very much into academics and also who tries to explore other side of my life, I have come a very long way and it has never been easy. So fast forward to 10th May 2014. I was 15 years by then, and I woke up very early that day. I couldn't sleep the previous night. I was tossing and turning. I was very anxious. I woke up unusually early, like around 5 a.m. And I managed to have my breakfast, go to even a nearby temple and reach home by 9. My parents were anxiously logging into the system. Any guesses? Yes, it was my result day of my class 10 board examinations. Being somebody who was academically good, I knew that I would score well, but I did not expect much. My father was anxiously typing the roll number in the system and he was hitting enter. The result page displayed and I couldn't believe my eyes. it showed 99.4%. And to my surprise, in another couple of minutes, my father got a call. It was from the examination department. And they were like, hello, am I speaking to Mr. Hariharan? And my father was, yes sir. Your daughter Vasavi had actually topped the state and she had also secured the first rank in her school. And the time my father was expressing this thing to me, I couldn't comprehend it. It was too much. I was overwhelming. So after this, the day that followed mostly consisted of me giving interviews to local dailies, coaching centers, school management. So I felt like a celebrity who was, so wherever you go, people recognize you and they were like, oh Vasli, so how did you manage to do this? So I had been too overwhelmed that I became self-obsessed after a point of time, which I didn't realize. I slowly started to see that my friend circle was shrinking. The people whom I used to share my lunchbox and gossips with were no longer there with me. And I felt that it could be that they were a little jealous, and I started to focus more on academics, that I gave very less time to any other thing in my life. And 2016, moving on from 2014 to 2016, I gave my class 12 boards. I did not expect much this time, but I neither topped the state, didn't top my school, but I managed to get into a good university, into the coursework of my choice. So I pursued B.Tech in Food Technology from Anna University, Chennai. So the very first day when I entered into the college, I felt different, so small and even suffocated. Why? The people who were there with me had already accomplished something else in their life apart from academics. There was somebody who was already having a business as a side hustle, and somebody who was partaking their family business, and somebody who was doing fashion designing and selling clothes, very fancy per se, and somebody who was really good at arts. What am I, apart from being academically consistent? That thought left me wondering. The very same evening, I was having snacks from my cafeteria. I saw a bunch of students sitting around chatting and discussing about college in general. So there was this line which played in the movie that they were seeing actually, and it comes like this: लाइफ में तुम इतना कुछ किया है तो भी तुमको क्या अभी खुश हो? जो चीज अब करने में आपको मजा नहीं आता है तो वो क्या है? जिस चीज से आप कमी महसूस करती हो, वो अगर करने के बाद भी आपको खुशी नहीं आता है तो लाइफ में क्या करना है? And this struck a chord in me. I started to take time out for the things that I really wish doing. I joined the clubs that were into spoken word poetry because I like poetry, and I also served as the editor for a term in my department for my college newsletter. Later on, I also started exploring traveling, wherein I made friends from diverse academic and cultural backgrounds. After a point of time, it also strangely gave me the confidence and courage to overcome things in life that I played hard as if I had nothing to lose. And now I would say there is something that I learned through this transformation. It is the fact that there is just one life, and seize the day, my friend. And that's about it. Thank you.
For a Toastmaster to come here and speak for the first time and improvise on your speech on the spot and talk to the Toastmaster of the day, put it in the speech, is an amazing display, an amazing effort.
Indeed.
Again, big round of applause. speaker, again attending the same project. So I request his evaluator not to read. He was worried. Toastmaster Kamlesh. Toastmaster Kamlesh has been one of our Toastmasters who has also now taken the Toastmasters to a different level. He has been giving training to his clients on sales and marketing, see what Toastmasters can do for you. So the project, next project speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Kamlesh. I request Toastmaster Akash, who is being mentored by Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, right? Yeah, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. So he is not here, but I'm sure he will see the video and he will see it back. Over to Toastmaster Akash.
Jack Canfield, an American motivational speaker, once said, everything that a person wants to achieve in his life lies on the other side of fear. As a person who has had an enormous fear of public speaking, this saying really struck a chord with me. I've always wanted to be an accomplished public speaker, but my fear for standing in front of an audience was so great that I never took any opportunities that came my way. As a person whose best friend is his laptop, and who loves spending time in his room without people disturbing him, I was really, the transition into college life was really something new. The lack of discipline, the freedom you get, the way teachers behave with you was really something new. And while I was adjusting to this new form of life, NC took place, it struck me like a jolt from the blue. My English teacher, who has a very bad habit of embarrassing and humiliating introverts and people who don't like to speak much, chose me as a target one day and humiliated me so much that I decided I can't let this continue and I must get rid of my fear. That reason is that incident is the reason I'm standing in front of all of you here today to give this speech. I still bear the scars of that incident, but it's something that I hope will be a blessing in disguise. Over the past few weeks, the exposure that I've gained on this stage has been extremely helpful, and support that I've seen everyone give to people like me has also helped me a lot. Now that I've given you a background about myself, I'd like to speak about my family, who are very important in focusing to run Toastmasters. I come from a middle class family. My father is someone who's been in the advertising industry for the past 30 years. He's a fine arts graduate, a very passionate philanthropist, and someone who used to represent his university in cricket. He is a very meticulous and articulate person and believes in doing things perfectly or don't do it at all. If there is an incident that you say, sum up my father, it would be back in 2018 when I was in 9th grade. My English teacher had given us an essay to write as our homework for the weekend. Since this was the first week of our class, I thought giving the essay to my father and making him write it would create a good first impression on my teacher. I went home, gave the book to my father, asked him to write the essay. I was so confident in him that I did not go through the essay after he finished it and submitted the book directly. The next day, my teacher finished correcting her essays and she showed me my essay. She was very happy with my essay. It was the best essay in the class. But she was also very angry with me for using what she called bombastic English. I initially didn't understand what she meant, but later on going through the essay, I understood that the vocabulary was simply too high for a 9th grade essay. Even for a 9th grade essay, my father had ensured it would be as perfect as possible. Compared to my father, my mother is someone who's more easygoing and whom I don't mind sharing things with. She is someone whom I'm very close to, and she's also someone whom I have a lot of respect for because she sacrificed her career in order to give me and my sister good foundations in our studies. She's also someone who learns to cook new dishes just for me, despite her hating cooking, because I love to have new dishes at home. She's a MSc graduate and a gold medalist as well, and she's also someone who has a very short temper and sadistic nature in me, loves liking the short fuse. And finally, the smallest member of my family, my little sister. If there is a word I could use to describe her, it would be hyperactive. She is filled with energy, complete opposite of me, always wants to take part in some activity or other. She is brimming with confidence, doesn't mind teasing people who are 10 or 20 years older to her, and she's an excellent excellent artist. In fact, I feel that she's already taken, she's better than my father. Before concluding, I'd like to share a few unique coincidences about my family. The day my father and mother got married was in the first hours of this new millennium. My mother was born on the 29th of February on the leap year. I was born on Vishnashtami, my sister was born on Janmashtami. Finally, I'd like to conclude by saying that I'd like to thank everyone for giving us the opportunity to speak about my family and introduce myself, and for being the beacon of hope in my dream to lose my fear of public speaking. Thank you.
Well done. How does it feel? Amazing, no? Very good. And you made people laugh. You know, I always admire people who have the capability to make laugh. Can switch off the light for a minute? Yeah. After I introduce the speaker, probably there. Yeah. So the next speaker is again attempting the project one, and he is being mentored by DTM Vijay Anand, right? Humor king of our club. And he will be evaluated by Toastmaster Sheep. Sheep, raise your hand. Yes, thank you very much. Over to Toastmaster Chirag for your speech.
Exhibition.
While the setting is getting adjusted, we have one of the advice I would like to give, going by Toastmaster Akash, that he mentioned, we should, whoever is going to speak next, even if it is the first project, try not to take your papers. It's the most dangerous thing to do. However good you are, the moment you have a paper with you, you tend to go back. Because sometimes you forget, you tend to go back. Just throw it out. If you forget it, forget. We are not here to support. We are here only for that purpose. So, who's speaking, if you think you're going to forget, just don't bother about it. We are here there to support, right? Over.
Sorry for the delay, but let's get started. I'm not sure if most of you have heard this or not, but according to a lot of statistics and surveys, most people are afraid of public speaking than their own deaths. So what this means is most people would rather be in a box and 6 feet under than give a eulogy for someone. And for the longest of times, I was one of those people. And now that I'm here on the stage for a couple of times, it actually seems quite silly. So, I'm not here right now. It was kind of confidence here. It was kind of brave and happy to present a speech in front of such a large audience. If you think my writing skills are good, it's not. I did this on a website, free website, and it took me just 2 minutes. So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
My name is Chirag Biyan, and if I haven't told you already, the B in my name stands for Bangalore, which is further evidence of the fact that I was born and brought up in Bangalore. And the N, it's nothing special, it's just my father's name. Everyone has a father's name in moving on, I'm part of a nuclear family. My dad is a CEO of his own company, Equity Code, which is an employment center. My mom's a homemaker, and my sister is currently doing her first year BCom. I had a lot of fun at Silicon City Academy of Secondary Education, where I did my schooling. It's a CPSE school, and even though it's not very popular, it's a great school. It's a wonderful school. At least until I was there. I'm not sure what it's up to right now. Then, for some reason, I decided to go join Diksha Center for Learning for my first PU, which is equivalent to 11th grade in state syllabus. So, if you guys don't know what Diksha is, Diksha comes to that category of institution and colleges. So, it's a place where they create the engineers, the IITians, the NITs, and probably someone like Toastmaster Vasvi. But I really didn't want to become an engineer. I thought it was too cliche. So yeah, but it still was a place where they respected smart students. But I wasn't one of them either. So I did gain some friends and some respect by playing some decent chess and good football. I have played chess for 5 years in my school. Because of which I also got an opportunity to participate in the CBSE South Zone chess tournament, which is just CBSE's fancy way of calling it an interstate tournament. And yeah, but the thing is, I didn't really love chess as well. I just played because my dad told me to. But then I came across football, and it was love at first sight. I started watching football, I started playing football, and yeah, I stopped playing chess, I started playing football full time. So because of which I also got a chance to represent my school and return my state in a couple of CBSE South Zone football tournament as well. So I also did win a couple of participation certificates, but nonetheless I had a lot of fun there. Currently I'm doing my final year BSc not BTech because my engineering instinct failed. So but yeah, because of my friend's suggestion, I'm doing my BSc in CMS, which stands for Computer Science, Math and Stats at Christ University. And fortunately, I was able to develop this passion and interest in a subject called statistics, which led me into discovering a topic or a domain called data analysis. I know this word data is thrown around a lot here and there these days, but believe me, it's amazing. So what I did was I hit the nail on my head and combined this interest in data analysis with my passion for football, and now I have set a goal to become a performance analyst for a football team called Brighton and Hove Albion, which is currently playing in the English Premier League, which is the best football league in the world. And I wanted to tell it to you or declare it in front of you guys that I'm not motivated, but in fact driven to achieve this goal. So yeah, when I chose this goal, I knew it was not going to be easy. I did my extra courses, I did my extra research and all that stuff. But I knew that I had to deal with my introverted nature. I knew that I had to become more confident in my communication skills. So guess what I decided to do? Yeah, so I'm glad and grateful for this opportunity, for this stage, and for an audience who is willing to go through a challenging task of listening to me speak. But I promise that in time, I'll make this job easier for you guys. Over to the
I can assure you, Toastmasters can change one's life, no doubt about it. If I can go and sing in China, who actually, my first speech in my college, I told a couple of you, the competition was there, my name was called just before, my friend's name was called, he ran away. And before my name was even called, I saw my friend and I also ran away. And after that, only Toastmasters excuse me. The fourth speaker today is also a recent joining to the club. He will be evaluated by Toastmaster Martha. She is also on an evaluation marathon now. She's told me that I've been doing a lot of evaluation and she's in a full mood. I request the next speaker, Toastmaster Gautam, to come over and give your speech, please.
or visited at least once in their lifetime. And this place is something that witnessed approximately 30 to 40,000 visitors every day. Yes. And so since this has been broken by one of our Toastmasters, and this is famous for the sweet, which is by the smell of the sweet where you can recall the name of the place. And having said that, I'm sorry that I don't have any laddu at the moment to offer you, if at all it has caused any disappointment. Being a kid for a father who served in an Indian army, discipline was a sword which was always hanging over my neck. And when I've come across my friends who were more lenient and jovial with their fathers, it always made me feel that my father is the most toughest person on the earth. And eventually it pushed even more closer towards my mother, and because she was relatively easier and softer to me, and which I took advantage of and often opened up my mischievous sides to her. However, only over a period of time, I came to know that it was all a part of good cop and bad cop game which they played just to keep me in line. And they were clearly having the hit the nail on the head moment. My father, being served in different parts of the country, he was the person who was opened up to various cultures and nuances. And which I think might be the reason why he was always made sure that I am aware of current affairs and societal aspects. And this helped me in the schooling by putting me a step ahead in the aspects like general knowledge, contests, elocution competitions, and other similar activities. And one of them is my first stage speech, which happened as early as in my second class during the event of Independence Day. And that's where it all started. And my bias towards social studies made me develop a dislike towards mathematics and other sciences. And that comes from the binary thinking of aspects which I have picked up from my childhood. And eventually, I ended up taking arts in my 11th and 12th for my college, and I taken up chartered accountancy course later. Particularly within arts, I developed a liking towards macroeconomics. And now, the combination of macroeconomics and being inquisitive of social aspects, it made arise political aspirations within me. By then, I was all confident that I am perfectly suitable material for politics. So, being that in head, I always made sure that I utilize every opportunity that I come across in my college to establish or to test and train my leadership skills and abilities. Over the process, I also faced challenges because I was not so accommodative of various ideas and opinions, because leadership is not only about front running and being authoritative, it's also about being inclusive. And when you are wanted to be a leader, you have to carry the group along with you. Further, towards achieving my aspirations in the politics, I did an internship with a political party in the research wing. And by the end of the research and the internship, I came across the fact that the narrative or the approach that I've chosen to achieve my aspirations is very narrow and is not appropriate at the time. Having said that, irrespective of whether I pursue it again or not, I notice a need within me to develop qualities like comprehending and to understand things in much inclusive way, the issues in an inclusive way, and also to be a savant orator, for which I choose Toastmasters, and I'm standing here and I look forward to develop those qualities at Toastmasters. Over to Toastmaster of the Day.
yes, it's a tradition in Bangalore Toastmasters that whenever a Toastmaster gives the first speech, we all give a standing ovation in recognition of his efforts that a person puts in coming over here and giving a speech. Well researched and spoken well. I remember when you talked about your father being very strict. My father also was strict. But in the college, one day he called me and my brother and said, have beer in front of me. I don't know what got into him. He said, no, we don't want beer. No, have beer. Let's have party. And the first beer I had in my life was from my dad. He gave a glass of beer. Fast forward, my son grew up. And when he turned 18, I called him, come on, let's have beer. What beer? No, beer. I don't take beer. Okay, have this. He was dead against any of the alcohol. I didn't know. I said, so what is good in one situation may not be good in another situation. But anyway, I did try my luck. And I told my daughter also, when she turned 18. She said, oh, she reeled out all the kind of whiskeys and alcohol and all that. I said, Papa, I did a mistake. Anyway, so that actually comes to end of session 1 today. We will have a short break of 5 minutes, a networking break. Guests who want to know more about Toastmasters can get in with the members, our committee members. Please raise your hand. Some of the committee members, yeah, you can see. And also visit www.toastmasters.org, where you get all the information about Toastmasters. Just 5 minutes break, and then assemble again for an education session by 7th DTM, Dr. Rajdeep Manwani.
Thank you, Priyanka, for closing the door. Welcome, brother. Okay, so for the next session now, I invite Dr. Rajdeep Manwani to give us techniques, ideas, and whatnot to develop the ability and the skill to speak on the spot, given a topic. Over to Rajdeep Manwani.
Thank you so much, Nitin, for that very ordinary introduction. But it's okay. I'm used to singing Chinese songs. So I'm an Indian, so it doesn't. But anyway, there was a man, he had twins, and somebody asked him, what have you decided to name them? He said, the first son I'm going to call Peter. He said, what was the second one? He said, Repeater. The reason I'm telling you this is, I've repeated this session so many times. Wherever I gave this in Speechcraft, I think so around 5-6 weeks back. I gave it in this club at least 1 year back, means it's in November. And then I given it in an area, but everybody tells me, no, you have to give this early. I said, okay. And if you want to hit the nail on your head by listening to me again and again, we can't help it. But anyway, so that was. So many of you all would have heard this topic. In fact, the reaction which I got were amazing when I came. When I asked Kamlesh, hey, I'm going to speak on speaking. Sir, we'll manage. Manage. Ask Joe's gave me a smile. Okay, it doesn't matter. So I know. So for all those who are going to hear it for the first time, please listen to it. Others, you all can do whatever you want with your mobile. But anyway, let's start off. In fact, I heard a child was crying, in the middle of somebody's icebreaker, right? Sure. I remember I had given a speech somewhere, and there was a child who was crying, and I got a little irritated after 2 minutes, and I told the mother, shut up. And the mother got up and she told, he's telling the same thing about you. Hope no children are here. Anyway. Now, one of the most important skills is thinking on your feet. And I think so thinking on your feet is a very, very important skill, because at times, a person who's the most spontaneous is the person who wins the day. If you're spontaneous, if it looks very rehearsed and if it looks very, very uptight, it doesn't create that impact. But if you are able to speak on the spot, you can actually create an impression. There was a man who walked into an interview room and he tripped and he fell down over there. And the people who were interviewing stared at him. This man, he got up and he said, "Sir, it's such a great thing. I've fallen into good company." And immediately those people smiled and he loosened the atmosphere, and needless to say, he might have got the job. And I had read a very interesting incident about Lord Mountbatten. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was the last viceroy of British viceroy of India. And I remember when he was chosen to be the viceroy of India, one of the panelists, the British panelists, had once asked him, Lord Mountbatten, suppose you are going to India and on the ship and there's a storm, what will you do? He said, "Sir, I'll throw an anchor." An anchor is a place where you anchor the ship, it keeps the ship tight. So he said, "Great." So he said, "Okay." The other person said, "Suppose you move further and then again a storm come, what will you do?" He said, "I'll throw another anchor." He said, "What about the third one?" He said, "I'll throw another anchor." One of the fourth panelists got irritated with Mountbatten and said, "How are you getting so many anchors?" He said, "Sir, how are you getting so many storms?" So the point is that you need to have that impromptu speaking skills in order to crack a situation. In fact, I heard in an IS interview where somebody had asked, "Can you jump from the third floor of your building?" He said, "Yes." He said, "But you won't be alive." He said, "Definitely I'll be alive, sir, because I'll jump inside, not outside." Right? So there is a great chance of you being it will be of great help if you are at a edge where you can actually speak well on the spot. Now, how do you speak well on the spot? Now, I'm going to give you three things, three basic categories. One, I'm going to give you two sources, then I'll talk about two strategies, and then I'll talk about two structures. So let's see how much I can finish in the 20 minutes he's given me. So let's start off first with the two sources. What are the two main sources of your impromptu speaking? I call them the open book and the open mind. We'll start with the open book. It's very, very beautifully said, "At a good reader in private is a great speaker in public." If you have the material, you will always be able to come out with something at any point of time. I generally narrate the story about my grandfather when I was in Devlali in Nasik. Devlali is a small cantonment there in Nasik, and we used to have army recruits, Jawans outside our house, and we used to keep a flask for them to drink water, and they used to drink the flask of water and then they used to ring the bell again. So my grandfather bought a earthen pot, a matka. Again, we used to get those same rings because around 10 or 15 used to drink the water from the matka and come back. After that again, my grandfather said, "We'll do something better than that." He took me to a market and he got a huge canister of at least 200 liters which he kept outside the house. And after that there were no rings at all. And the reason why I told you this incident is, if you have only a flask of knowledge, you'll be able to satisfy only 2 or 3 people. If you have an earthen pot of knowledge, you'll be able to satisfy a little more. But if you have a bank of stories, like Abhay was just now telling me, you have so much in your mind that you can speak on any topic at any point of time. It makes so much of sense. So if you are able to read on a regular basis, if you are able to cultivate this habit of being a good reader, or at least have something which you can talk about, maybe a newspaper article which you read at least 5 lines every day, it creates a big impact, or it creates a big impact on what you're going to speak. And most of the table topics which I have won at the district level have not been only personal incidents, they have been incidents which I have taken from my own life. There was this district conference at Kochi where they had given me a topic, hard work. What was the topic? It was anger is one letter away from danger. And I narrated an incident where there was this lady, she had gone to a mall, and when she went to the mall, a small child who was around 6 years old saw a teddy bear and she started screaming, "Mummy, I want this teddy bear, Mummy, I want this teddy bear." This lady said, "No, I bought your teddy bear only 1 month back, I can't get it." "No, Mummy, I want." And this child was so frustrated, she sat down on the ground and she started bawling away. This lady stood near her and said, "Relax, Sunita, relax. Relax, Sunita, relax." A man who was passing by, he came up and told her, "I don't know how you have so much pain. Since I would have got very angry with this girl. She's making such a mess. I would have slapped her and taken her home. How? I think your daughter Sunita is very lucky to get a mother like you." The lady looked at her and said, "Who said my daughter's name is Sunita? My name is Sunita. I'm telling myself to relax." And I told this in a way so that when I told you anger is one letter from danger, you have to tell yourself. So that was one incident. There was another topic which had come in one of the semi-finals, I think, so which said, knowledge is great, but wisdom is better. And I remember giving an example of a story which I had read some time back, where there was this farmer who was relaxing under a tree in his farm, and there was this MSc agricultural science graduate who came up to this farmer and he said, "Oh my God, I've gone through your farm and I find that your techniques of cultivation are absolutely outdated, ridiculous. I'll be surprised if this tree under which you are sleeping gives even 20 kgs of mangoes." The farmer smiled and said, "Even I'll be surprised because it's an apple tree, it's not a mango tree." So I gave this example and I gave a sense of what I had to say out of a borrowed story. So what I'm trying to tell you is, always keep an open book. Read something every day. Because if you read something every day, you're cultivating that pot of knowledge. Let's go to the second source, because I'm running out of time. It's called the open mind. Your life is a bouquet of incidents which happen. On a daily basis, you have so many incidents which happen in your life. And if you can actually take those incidents of your life which you only know, it can have such a great impact because you can narrate those incidents which have happened personally with you while giving your talk. So I'll give you a few examples. I have got a topic, as I was telling you, hard work or smart work technique. So this was in one of the finals. I don't remember. I used to take part in lots of district competitions in my early days, right from 2007 to I think so 2017. I might have taken part. I won around 5 districts, but I took part in I think 6 or 7, right? So I don't remember this, but it had happened in one of those competitions. It's hard work or smart work, and I repeated an incident which I had with my father. Nikhil's father had given him beer. My God. My father would have made me do urine therapy if I had asked him to beer or something. I don't know what he would have done, but he was pretty strict. Okay, so I remember when I was young, I had this very bad habit of sucking my thumb, and I used to keep sucking my thumb. And my mother did everything. She put a bandage on my thumb, she put chilies, and nothing happened. She told my father the same thing. My father said, "Don't worry, I'll solve this problem." He said, "Okay." That evening he bought at least 8 new dresses for me. And my mother said, "I told you to solve the problem, not to actually help him and get him something, make him feel special because he's sucking his thumb." He told, "No, doesn't matter. Make him wear the dresses, it'll be okay." I wore the shirts, they were absolutely great. But when I wore the pants, all the pants were at least 2 sizes bigger than my size. Now what happened is, because these pants were bigger than my size, and I used to live in an apartment, there were also girls over there. And all of them are falling down. Every day I'm pulling them up. And I forgot how to suck my and the entire problem was so I repeated this incident when I was doing hard work or smart work, and it helped me win the competition, right? Recently, when I gave my second TED talk, Rethink, Redesign and Redesign, I narrated an incident which happened to me about this also happened in Colombo, where the topic was previously India and Sri Lanka were one district, okay? And I remember the topic which came in the final: if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I repeated an incident which happened in my life, and I had gone to a restaurant, and I was sitting there, and there was this man who was shouting at the waiter. was telling the waiter, "You idiot, the AC is not on, put on the AC." The waiters will guess that I put it on. He put it on. After a few minutes, he said, "Hey, the AC is too cold, switch it off." The waiter said, "Guess that I switch it off." Like that, he told him 4 times, "Switch on the AC, switch on the AC." When the waiter came to take my order, I told him, "You're not getting irritated. So many times he's telling you to switch on the AC, switch off the AC." He told, "Sir, it doesn't make any difference." I told, "Why?" "No, sir, actually AC is not working for 2 days." I said, "If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything." So remember this, your life is an open book. And I always tell you, no problem. 2 minutes, baby, correct? Okay, coming to the point. So what happened was, in this context, I wanted to tell you to do one small thing. Write down a journal every day. Might be not at the end of the day. If you are too tired, might be the next day morning. Go through all the incidents which happen in your life every day. Now this does 2 things. One, it helps you to collect a series of incidents which happen in your life. Might be very mundane incidents, but if you pay a little more attention, you are not living like strangers to your own life. You will get a lot of things. Second thing is, because you are writing a journal, you will start becoming more aware of what is good that you are doing and what not you are doing in your life. So suppose you say, "Okay, today I got very angry at the servant." It's not great. Or you write, "Okay, today I helped my neighbor in cultivating the flowers." Great, you put in brackets. Now what happens is, the next time, let's say the second day, your servant makes you a little angry. You're about to get angry, something will flash in your mind. "Oh, yesterday itself I told that I'm not going to get angry with my servant," and you'll control your temper. And that same evening you'll write, "I think so, I control my temper, great job." Now if you maintain a journal, what happens is, over a period of time, because you are so connected with yourself and aware with yourself, you'll find that the craving for approval from others comes down, which is a great thing to have. You're liberating yourself from the approval of so many other people. "Oh, this person said this thing about me, that person," because you are your own judge. So you don't have to worry about what other people are thinking of you, because you know what you're good at. And you won't be so affected by criticism because you are your own judge. So a great byproduct of getting those incidents is also a sense of freedom from the approval of other people. And it doesn't happen, it takes at least 2-3 years. It took for me at least 3-4 years, okay. But it happens. Over a period of time, you'll feel a lot more freedom, a lot more space, that I don't have to live up to everybody's expectations in life, right? So that is one thing. So those 2 are the great sources. Now let's come to the 2 strategies. Let's come to the 2 strategies. Now the 2 strategies which I'm going to talk to you all about. The first strategy is again something which I won't like. Now let's do a little bit of science first. Now remember, your brain has 2 parts, the left side and the right side. Your left brain is your very, very analytical brain, which actually converts all your symbols into words, everything, right? So it's the analytical part, it does the calculation, it does the vocabulary. The right side of your brain is the creative one. So what happens is, it stores all the stories, emotions, etc. Now, you might have read a lot of articles and books. You might have written down hundreds of incidents about your life, but when you come on stage, you will freeze. Why? Because there are no neural pathways between the left side and the right side. The emotions, the stories, the content are not getting transferred to the analytical side of the brain, and therefore you're not able to speak at that particular point of time. So how do you develop these neural pathways between the right side and the left side of your brain? First point, which I'm telling you now, the University of Leeds, the University of Amsterdam, and several research papers published around the world says a guaranteed way of developing neural pathways from the right side to the left side of your brain is by sitting in silence for at least 10 to 15 minutes every day. 10 to 15 minutes every day. Sit for quietly. Stop everything which is happening in your life at that particular point of time, and it doesn't matter, your mind will wander here, it will go there, it will go to your terrace, it will go somewhere here. It doesn't matter, but don't, because you are overloaded with sensory emotion, sensory stimulation. Your eyes are seeing hundreds of things every day, you're listening to 25 things every day, you're touching so many things every day. You need some rest to your neural pathways which are getting jammed. And the easiest way is not pause, stop. Might be sit in your garden, see something in nature, but don't do anything for 15 to 20 minutes every day. And I'm not going to use words like meditation or that. Forget about it. Just sit in silence for 15 20 minutes every day, and you'll see that there is a dramatic shift in the way in which you are able to be more spontaneous with what you're doing rather than being all the time jammed up with whatever you're actually doing. In fact, your neural muscles, you can't see them. You see a person like Hrithik Roshan or Tiger Shroff because they exercise every day, you can see the six-pack. But if you see those people who have sat in silence every day, you'll see that they are all big giants. The neural pathways in their heads are great. All the great people. Isaac Newton sat in silence before the plague, and that's what came the calculus, right? Albert Einstein used to call it deep time versus surface time. And these are scientists. A.R. Rahman. Take any great person. A.R. Rahman, Dalai Lama, Rajdeep Manwani, everybody. Okay. So all these people sit in silence for some time every day, and you'll find that it becomes absolutely wonderful. Try it out. Means I'm trying to just explore the possibility. I'm not telling you that it might work, it might not work, but whatever, at least give it a chance. Secondly, it's called something called a sadhana, the second strategy. See, what happens is another way of developing the pathways from the left side to the right side of your brain is by practicing. So when somebody is speaking about a table topic, so rehearse it in your mind. Give yourself a chance to speak as many times as possible in front of somebody else. In fact, I was talking about this very beautiful book called The Power of Full Engagement, which was written by two people, Tony Schwartz and Joan Lord. They did an experiment on chess players, and they found out that chess masters who can beat 10 professional players one after the other, they had an IQ of around 120, 125. The general IQ of a person is 90 to 110. Okay. When they did the IQ level of a chess grandmaster, a grandmaster is a person who can defeat 10 masters at the same time. And they found something very strange, that the IQ level was the same, around 123, 125. Then they said, what is the difference between these grandmasters who are beating 10 masters at the same time? The difference they found out was that a chess grandmaster spends around 8 to 10 hours practicing every day, while a chess master is practicing only for around 3 or 4 hours every day. The more you practice, the more you become better at what you are. Remember, Virat Kohli always says this when they ask him, how come you're such a great cricketer, 60, 65 as an average? He said, I believe in the slogan of the Indian Army. The more you sweat during peacetime, the less you bleed during wartime, right? And isn't that true? The more you actually put in effort in going up on stage, your neural pathways get developed day after day, day after day, day after day. And after a point of time, you won't even realize that you're actually coming on stage, and you'll find it so effortless for you to actually speak on stage. So there is a very, very big benefit of putting in that hard steps or putting in those hard yards of effort day after day. And that is the second way. It's called sadhana. Sadhana simply means continuous, diligent effort. So when you do continuous, diligent effort, you'll find it. As Robin Sharma always says, change is very difficult in the beginning, messy in the middle, but beautiful at the end. When you put in those efforts in the beginning, your legs will shake, all those things will happen. But after a period of time, you'll be able to do much better. So remember, I've given you two strategies, that is silence and sadhana. I've given you two sources, that's your open book and the open mind. And some people ask me, can you give me a little structure or a little strategy? There will be two things you can do. One is, don't think in sentences, think in words. Always think in words. Means when they give you a topic which is very long, right? Correct? From artificial intelligence is better than natural stupidity. Don't think of natural stupidity, you will get confused. Think of artificial intelligence, speak of something about that. Or something, suppose they talk about wisdom, knowledge and all, speak about wisdom. Think in words, not in sentences. I remember Kamlesh did a table topic session sometime back, only words, right? And all of you could speak so well, because it's much easier to think in words rather than sentences. So do that. Secondly, I generally do something called as define, describe and illustrate. Define. What is the topic about? Define. Describe something about it. and then give an illustration. So DDI. Give a definition about what you're talking about, describe about it. Traffic jams in Bangalore. Define what is the traffic jam, you're stuck for hours. Describe how the feeling, frustration. Then illustrate it, how you were there, and recently you read an article where a person was stuck in a traffic jam, placed an order from Pizza Hut and he got it in time. Correct? So give that and you'll find that it comes out beautifully well. One more structure which generally follows, especially for newcomers, is force yourself to tell, I'm going to talk 3 things about this topic. So suppose somebody gives you a topic about patriotism. I'm going to talk about 3 things about patriotism. Now when your mind tells you things, don't tell it aloud, but say I'm going to talk 3 things about it. What happens is your mind automatically generates ideas for at least 2 or 3 things. So force your mind to tell, okay, I'm going to talk 3 things about it. So define, describe, illustrate, think in words, don't think in sentences, and always keep in your mind, at least I'll speak 3 things about it rather than going on. So these are the 3 or 4 structures which I have. But finally at the end, just remember that spontaneity comes over a period of time. Nothing is a quick fix in life, right? Everything takes its own time, right? You know, when you start learning your bike or a scooter or a car, what happens? You put that L board, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So as a person who's pursuing public speaking or impromptu speaking, always imagine that L board on your head all the time. Learn all the time. And when you have that curiosity to learn all the time, you'll find that you'll become a much, much better speaker. Thank you. Let me
Rajiv, I want one question I have. Rather, it's not a question. Just now you shared with us how to tackle table topics. You shared with us.
Yeah.
The child is not here, so you are free to speak very much, very longer. Now, my request to you is that how table talk master has to prepare for the session. Do you have any suggestion for that? How table talk master.
I always feel that one, the topic should be such that everybody can speak in the audience, whether, you know, every table talk master, it should be horses for courses. Suppose there's a new member, always choose a new member and give him an easy topic. So suppose there's a person who just given an icebreaker, give him a very easy topic so that he's comfortable. And after the person goes off, encourage him, brilliantly spoke, very nicely done. Might be for seasoned members you can give different difficult topics, but always choose topics which suit the requirement of the person, and always give a topic which will make the person speak for at least 1 or 2 minutes. You're not, as a table topics master, the spotlight shouldn't be on you, it should be on the person who's actually coming to give the table topic. So you are just facilitating somebody to give a good table topic. If you try and make it really funny by cracking jokes and putting your all those props and all that, you're trying to shift the focus or spotlight towards you. It's not a great thing. I find the best table topics are the ones which make everybody speak for at least 1.5 to 2 minutes, and there's always a smile and an encouragement to the person after he's given the talk.
Thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you, Rajdeep. You are mentioning that I did not give introduction. It was a normal introduction. The problem is when you start introducing him, you know, whole half an hour is gone. So in New York time, I have to do that. But let me tell you, last Sunday, when I was fortunate enough to attend his session, all the Toastmasters were strangers because it was a different area altogether. I didn't know anybody except it was a person who had invited me. And I had to introduce to everybody, saying, I'm from the club where Rajdeep Manwani came. That was the introduction I had. So that's how Rajdeep holds in Toastmasters circles. Now, to show us the mirror, how we have done today, I invite the general evaluator for the meeting Toastmaster Vijay Kalkundri.
Since this is the season of World Cup cricket, let's start with the World Cup. So there was this 21-year-old lad who was aspirational to make his name in the cricket. He came from a very small town called Badani in UP. And he came and stayed in a tent in Mumbai. So he wanted to create his name in cricket. But he did not have any means or any support to shine. But he kept on to it. He ate, you will not believe, ate glucose biscuits for his meals because he could not meet his ends. He also sold pani puri outside the Azad Stadium so that he could fend himself so that whenever there was shortage of meals. He went on to be chosen to Rajasthan Royals. I am talking about none other than Yashwant Jaiswal, the 21-year-old, who was chosen on IPL 2020 season for 2.5 crores and went on to be retained for 4 crores. So he does that. I am tough mentally, but always on the toes. He, I think, is very, very relevant on today's team. Hit the nail on the head. He kept on going even after all the means what he had because he wanted to shine. Now coming back to the meeting on the same lines, our meeting number 1397 was hitting the nail on the head because the VP Education has started the entire drafting of how the meeting should be right at the beginning of the week. So she had drafted everything last Sunday. She called a lot of the role takers, kept everyone onto their toes so that they are sure that they are coming to the meeting and ensure that the meeting was well ahead of time. So this meeting, today's meeting started sharp at 6:30 p.m. As always, at sharp 6 o'clock, the entire board was set up, the board was written, and all the role takers were ensured, the Toastmaster of the day ensured that all the role takers were going to be coming on time and all the speakers were in the same sequence. That was a very good thing. Coming to the role takers of today's meeting, Sergeant Thomas, Brand D'Souza, who was filling in for the Sergeant Thomas instantly. So he naturally was welcoming and started with a very encouraging voice. He welcomed each of the people who had come today to the meeting very well. He explained the role of a SAA to all the people. He introduced the president very well and used the theme and the word of the day very well. So he was very comfortable, and what I can suggest, one of the few things I can suggest here is probably you can use slightly innovative thing to introduce the president, because we all know what he works and like we have been listening to the same introduction for some time. But like if you can introduce a few novelty in that particular introduction, your role can be taken to the next level. But for a great role execution done by say Brand D'Souza, what does it deserve today? Next to come on stage was President Shashank Bhatt. As usual, he is very cool, calm and composed, and he has been doing this job very well, exceptionally well, and has been taking a notch higher week on week. He was very welcoming. He was also very keen, and he also made a twist to, he also ensured that he called the speech crafter, he welcomed them, and he ensured that they feel at home. So he had a personal story where he told how his friend was called for a Dasra and made it gave it a personal touch, and also introduced the theme very well. Probably one of the suggestions what I can give is, like say, what you can do is like there is a lot of rapid movement on the stage, which if you can reduce slightly bit, because the movement, even the audience moves with you, sways when you go left and right. If you can reduce it slightly, and also reduce the rapid eye movement when you are narrating something, can be an added advantage. But for the exceptional president address, what Shashank has given. What does he deserve today? Next, coming on to the man of the moment today, like who took the center stage, the Toastmaster of the day, Nitin. So, there are a lot of learnings today for any Toastmaster of the day who wants to come here and do that role. So there are a lot of learnings. I'm going to list a couple of them which will actually help anyone who wants to take this role. So what he did was like he first put us on a pulled in our attention. How? By telling that this is a very special day. Why? He cited the two reasons: the icebreaker one and the special education. That was a way of engaging the audience. Then next, he told a lot of personal stories. Like we all know he's from China and like a lot of personal stories. But the Chinese story actually, most of the people are able to resonate, but it actually rang a bell and like how you can not only ring a bell but also sing a song. So singing a song was giving a personal touch. Introduction of the theme by singing the song is a very nice way of letting yourself free when you are on stage and also engaging the audience. Know that you are already comfortable on stage. So also one of the few things what I noticed is very jovial on stage. Like he was able to connect, talk to people, make an instant connect. So that makes a Toastmaster connect to the audience. So that's one other thing. One another key aspect what I noticed here was filling the time. Whenever he observed that there was a lag in whatever setup was being made, he filled the time by giving a feedback that if you can avoid taking notes. So this way you fill up the time. As a Toastmaster has to pay all taking into account all such unpredictable things which happen on stage and go that extra mile. And then at the end of all the icebreaker speech, he also included that what is the tradition of standing up, why that has been brought. So that way he filled up that thing. And one of the nice thing what I noticed is like he also told visiting the website. Like a lot of us know there is a website, but it was I think like one of the very few times we have heard anyone mention that. So all in all, he was vigilant. He welcomed the guests who came at the late also. But what are some things if I had to nitpick? Toastmaster Nitin is like, say probably something about the speaker. I know they're talking about the icebreaker since you have a small introduction, like something like that. You did connecting all the speakers well. Some kind of a dressing thing, like if you can, like as a Toastmaster today, that would be great. But next, moving on to the prepared speeches, let's call on stage the evaluator for first speaker, Toastmaster Lilith, who is going to evaluate Toastmaster Vasu.
Fellow Toastmasters and my target speaker Vasu in particular. Our general evaluator gave a touch of the World Cup. So let me tell you Vasu who you reminded me of. You reminded me of Rachan Ravindra who scored his debut century yesterday in the first World Cup match by playing a match-winning innings. And I think your speech was absolutely fantastic. And if you ask me why, here's why. Number one, you have great storytelling ability. Right? You went into the details. You took us back into the past. You said 10th May, my results were up. And in between, you added a touch of humor. And let me tell you, in public speaking, making people laugh is the hardest thing to do, and you achieve that thrice. The winner for me in everything was what Toastmaster Nitin pointed out, was improvisation. And to acknowledge this, I'll take DTM Rajdeep's educational session. He said great speakers can improvise on the go, and you just proved that right at the beginning of your speech. If you ask me how much did you score for a 10, I'll say a 10. But if you want to continue scoring a 10 in your next few speeches, let me give you a few recommendations. Number one, now I'm being super critical and I'm treating you like a seasoned speaker even though it's your first speech, with warning, okay? Number one, I felt your body weight kept shifting from right to left, right? It was too much stress on the knee, and sometimes, like a ballerina, your right leg would go up like this. Watch your YouTube video and tell your mentor to help you out with this. For that, you simply have to stand with 1 to 1.5 feet apart, firmly with both weight on both legs. Second, you had a clear tone, fantastic. Many first-time speakers often get nervous. But if you want to take your speech and vocal variety to the next level, you know what you have to pay attention to? Is pause and tone. Here's a hack for everybody and also you. When you write your script, when you put a full stop, draw 2 lines. So when you're practicing, it consciously tells you that you have to pause. Because when you give a pause, like I do right now, it gives emphasis to the story. Finally, the biggest recommendation I have. Even though your icebreaker was fantastic, let's rewind a little bit. The right template for an icebreaker is PPF, past, present and future. You spoke excellently about the past, but little did I hear about your present or your future. Your present should have had things like, what are you doing right now? Why did you join Toastmasters? Your future should have had something like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This could have given a 360-degree introduction of who you really are. All in all, Vasvi, I think you were a fantastic speaker, and make sure you continue improvising your speeches when you come on stage. Feel free, breathe, you need that oxygen. Second, you're a great storyteller. Continue what you're doing, and I promise you will be a killer of a speaker. And finally, work on these 3 suggestions: template, your pauses, and your body language. Thank you so much.
Great evaluation, and I think like the PPF formula has actually was a very good way of communicating feedback. We go to the next speech. Next speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Kamlesh.
Good evening, everyone, and Akash in particular. The purpose of this project is to introduce to the audience and learn the basic structure of the public speaking. Let me evaluate your speech, Akash, based on your project guideline. And I would like to evaluate your speech based on the word ICE, which stands for initiative, content, and engagement. Today, Akash, you have not just broke the ice, but I would say that you melted the ice on the stage. And let me start with the I, which is initiative. You took the initiative because even you have a public fear of public speaking, and you took the initiative today and come on the stage and share your journey. That is remarkable journey initiative, I would say that. So kudos to you. Second, come to the project guideline is a content which is defines about the structure of the speech, and which says that it should have the opening, body, and conclusion. And you started in the opening. You started with the sharing your challenge, and you share the experience of how you the English teacher evaluated on your speaking ability. And that is where you open the speech, and that is you put to your body, and you have smoothly transition to the opening to the body and sharing your family members, and it was with subtle humor. So that was great thing. And the good part, I would say that in the conclusion part, you thanked everyone for giving this opportunity. You connected the dots where the opening you were saying that about the challenges that you were facing in the public speaking, and you connected the dots. So it was amazing. I would say that as per the project guideline, it was amazing content as a structure of the project. Now the third is a E, which stands for the engagement, and I think it is a subtle humor that you talked about. Every time you talked about the essay that writing about your father, you talked about many stories. So it was amazing, engaging. And I would say that as per the project guideline, it was the first speech which itself, I say that is a motivating for yourself. I don't want that you start swimming in the race of the public speaking, but definitely today you have broke the ice. And I would say that it was amazing speaking. Only few things that we would like to hear about your ambition, you would like to hear about your hobbies. That's it. Otherwise, excellent job, and we'd like to hear more speeches in the future. Thank you.
For shattering the ties, Toastmaster Akash, and for a great evaluation, Toastmaster Kavalesh. Both of them deserve another round of applause. Next on stage was Toastmaster Chirag, and Toastmaster Chirag will be evaluated by Toastmaster Chirag.
Like many of the icebreaker evaluations, I'm not going to say that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single sentence. I'm a salesperson. For me, a journey of 1,000 miles always begins with a cash advance from the finance department. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmaster Chirag in particular. Chirag, your name suggests that it's light, right? And you really lighted the stage today. And let us see how did you light the stage. And I'm going to take a cue from your name, Mr. Chirag. C for me is connection. How did he connect? He had a pleasant way of standing here and he smiled. When the speaker smiles, it actually reduces the mile between the audience and the speaker, immediately giving an engagement. And you were very pleasant also. So for me, I was relaxed and ready to listen to you. And the second one, edge. There was loads and loads of humor in your speech. And you began with saying that it's better to be in a coffin as a dead person than giving a eulogy. So, and there were many instances where you used humor. And the biggest plus point for you is, you are kind of a serious speaker, and audience have no clue when the humor is going to come. So that actually, gives a laughter, and actually that creates an engagement. It enhances as a speaker's confidence. That I use your intent means you are a Toastmaster for less than 30 days. Many Toastmasters join and they just stare at the steps of public speaking. And you decided not to stare at the steps, but step up the stairs of public speaking. And you took this journey of the first step, and this is a difficult step. Kudos to you for your intent. And R is relatable, because all the stories you said, I'm an introvert. I have fear of public speaking, but I have a drive, to better. But I know it's a difficult challenge, but I actually try to come and try to polish my skills. It's great difficulty. I see the same person in you. And the next is A is authentic. You have many authentic anecdotes about your family, your fears. You talk about your dreams, like you are scientific, your chess, and you move to football. Then your data analyst specialist and your dreams about football, all will combine in the 5-minute speech. And the last G is, this is a place with a chance to learn and grow. So how can you actually push this speech to the next level? That G is for gambling. Because today you took a gambling of putting the slides for a short speech. What happened is, when the Toastmaster introduces you, are coming with a lot of courage, a lot of positivity, people are clapping, and you have to stand here for some time. That makes you a little nervous and can actually crack you a little bit. So try to avoid, because you have the knack of explaining those factors. So it gives you another chance of 1 more minute, because you spoke only for 5 minutes. So you could have actually used that time. So all in all, I would say you are a Chirag, and you are a Chirag in public speaking. And I am definitely sure with your drive, you will go to many places. Congratulations for your icebreaker.
So that was Chirag's evaluation in the acronym Chirag by another Chirag of our club. Can we have a round of applause for both? So next we have the political aspirant Toastmaster Gautam. To evaluate Toastmaster Gautam, let me call on stage DTM Teresa.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guest, and my dear Gautam. Toastmaster Gautam, I highly appreciate you for giving this icebreaker speech today within 3 weeks of joining Toastmasters. You know, when did I took 9 months to deliver my icebreaker speech. Kudos to you about this. And today's icebreaker speech was with full of humor, good usage of language. You were so confident. Parents have named you Gautam, remover of darkness. That's what you did here. Came and smiled at everyone. Darkness vanished, Gautam, and you started your journey to tell everyone. Started with humor itself, your place of birth. Yes, Laddu, I did not bring. Yes, everybody smiled. And you went on, said everything about your childhood, your school, your college, and where you are now. While speaking, Gautam, I'm repeating, you were very confident. And that confidence, Gautam, you have to take furthermore. Coming again, you told about your father who was strict. I love the way your facial expression. Your face was straight. My father was very strict person. And my mother, wow, I loved it. The first icebreaker speech, the facial expression, can anybody expect that? Wonderful. Good usage of language is my right, remedial will not have a job. So, and when I said all those things good about you, your speech, there are still improvements, right? You have to give a second speech. Gautam, you had time 4 to 6 minutes. And your time you used only 5 minutes, not even 5, a little bit less. Those 63 seconds, Gautam, you could have spoken about your hobby, your passion, what is your interest, what made you to join, and what happened in the 3 weeks. We wanted to hear that. However, removal of darkness, Toastmaster Gautam, you remove the darkness, use this few feedback of mine, and I would love to see your second speech. Louder applause.
Today's was an exceptional day. All the icebreaker speeches and the evaluators were top notch. Can you have another round of applause for this? So the voting link is shared on the WhatsApp. Yeah, kindly don't know, like say the links will be shared. The password for that will be 7. Then it is shared. Please clean that. Before that, let's have the tag team report. Give the timer report. Let me call on stage the timer of the day, Toastmaster Srinivas. Can you have a round of applause?
Good evening, all the Toastmasters and beloved guests. So most of the Toastmasters speeches were within the time, with exception of Nitin clocking 2 minutes 35 seconds. Vaishwari was clocking 1 minute 37 seconds more than the prescribed 6 minutes slot. And Vijay, you clocked at the beginning 3 minutes 55 seconds extra. Rest of all was on time. Probably age doesn't matter in learning, time matters. That's why I was very particular in doing this.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivas, for that crisp and concise report. To get talk about the report, let's on stage Toastmaster Gaurav. Can you have an applause?
People who took more than 5 violations are Akash and Kamlesh. Rest of all of us were on correct coordination.
Thank you for that crisp report again. To give a grammarian report, can we have Toastmaster Himani on stage?
Good evening again. So, to report out not so good usages of English language, someone used "you have a fear." That could have been "you have fear." She had topped the stage. Since you were talking in the present tense, it should be "she has topped the stage." I was overwhelming, can be "I was overwhelmed." He ran away, can be "he ran away." Being that in my head, having that in my mind, kept everyone onto the toes, should be kept everyone on their toes. Were going to be coming on time, could be were coming on time. Was being made, could be was made. Word of the day was used by Brian, Gautam and Nitin. There were certain good usages of English language as well. 21-year-old lad, remarkable journey, and various other good usages of English were there in today's meeting. Thank you.
Can we have another round of applause for all the auxiliary rotators? The voting link has been shared on the WhatsApp group. Kindly cast your vote. I'll be Saban. S-A-B-A-N-T. The word of the day.
Too small.
Thank you everyone for casting your votes. So with that, we don't have table topic session today, but we had another gem of an event today, like where we had a classical education session from Toastmaster TDM largely on the impromptu session, where we got the tools like the two sources, two strategies, and two structures of the table topic session. It was a very engaging and thought-provoking, and I'm sure it will definitely help all our club members to take their table topic preparation to the next level and get prepared well for those table topics and evaluation sessions which are going to happen in the forthcoming weeks. With that, we come to the end of the general evaluation session. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
I hope you all had a good time today.
Yes.
Yeah. I would like to thank the committee for giving me the opportunity for conducting today's session, especially Toastmaster Priyanka, who has been behind my blood for the last 10 days. I've been trying to avoid her, but not very successful. But anyway, I enjoyed. It's always, the fear is always there, but once you come here and looking at all the Toastmasters here, you get the energy to conduct. Thank you again.
You think 2 lines? Song,
Yes.
song.
You want it?
Yeah.
I think he's going to test whether I sang the same song. Yeah.
wonderful rendition. I think we were missing this from a long time. I think we hope that Toastmaster Nitin comes on stage every week so that we could hear a different song. So with that, what a wonderful meeting we had. We had an icebreaker marathon. But did it feel like icebreaker speeches? No. It felt like I am listening to some experienced veteran speakers on stage. Can we have a round of applause to all the speakers? With that, we have quick announcements to make before moving on to the award section. We have the evaluation and table topics contest happening at our club. The club level contest happening next week, which is on 13th of October. The contest chair for these contests is Toastmaster Hannah Victoria, our immediate past president. Can we call her on stage for quick announcement? More updates on the contest.
A very good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Good to be back and good to see all of you. This week we had a brilliant meeting, and the next week also, I guess, we'll continue the tradition. It will be a brilliant meeting. The contest, both the evaluation and the table topics contest, we'll start at 6 p.m. next week. It's only because we have to accommodate both the contests, and it will, it shouldn't lead in the sense fatigue for the judges, so we thought we'll start at 6. And we've closed registrations for both contests, and we've got a good number. Very, very glad that we've had such a good number of participants. I wish each and every participant all the very best, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hannah. All the best to all the participants. Moving on, we have our speechcraft. First speechcraft session of this term, which is going to conclude this Sunday. We are starting second speechcraft program as well, which will commence on the 29th of October, the last Sunday of October. So, yes, if you're interested to know more about the speechcraft event or about the membership in general, you can reach out to Toastmaster Joe's Paul, our VP membership, at the end of the meeting. We also have, we just finished 3 months of our term, of our executive committee's term. We thank you for your encouragement, your guidance, and your coordination during the first 3 months. We usually start the meeting on time. There is no issue with starting the meeting at 6:30 sharp. But however, recently we tend to go beyond 8:30. So to adjourn the meeting at 8:30, the executive committee decided that there would be time disqualifications going forward. That means when the agenda is set, our VP Education will prepare minute by minute agenda and share it with the members. Please stick on to the agenda, the time given in the agenda. There will be a 30 seconds grace on either side. In case you cross the 30 seconds grace, the bell will be rung. After the bell is rung, that means you are disqualified. You would not be eligible to be voted. Your name should be taken off from the voting list. This is only to end the meeting on time, considering the time issue and the travel as well. I hope all of you understand and we have good cooperation from your end as well. We also are looking for a speechcraft coordinator. If you wish to nominate yourself as a speechcraft coordinator for the next event starting on 29th of October, please reach out to Toastmaster Joe's Paul, our membership, by tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last date for you to reach out. We will decide based on the eligibility and experience, etc. But last date is tomorrow. Moving on to the award section for today's meeting. Start with the best auxiliary role taker. Best tag team player. It goes to our timer, Toastmaster Srinivas. The best role taker award goes to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Nitin. goes to DTM Lalit Dhanush. And all the 4 speakers were very good today, but however we have to select one. The best speaker award for this evening goes to the topper Toastmaster Vasari Hariram.
So I can score 100 full.
Thank you all for taking time off your busy schedules and attending the meeting today. We look forward to see you at the club at 6 p.m. next week. We will not have a regular meeting, we will have only the contests. Have a happy journey back home. I adjourn meeting number 1397. Have a good day.